Hi everyone, hopefully I am through to the lovely Hamble School, Hamble Primary Parents Facebook group, and I am Bike It Ray if you don't know me, and I am in your school, your lovely school this week, and I've been fixing bikes, doing a bike doctor, and I thought I'd quickly just point out some of the main things that I'm finding. Now yesterday I worked on Key Stage 1 bikes, and hopefully you got yourselves a little report on what I did. So today I've been a little bit short of time on a lot more bikes, so I've done a thorough, what I would call safety check through all of them. There are still a few tweaks to be done, and I haven't had a chance to write a little report for you, but I'm happy that they're safe. I needed to give the priority just to see them all, and I'm sure you understand. But I have picked out a few things that are quite common that I find, so I'm going to run through and run around some of the bikes to show you some of the bits. Now obviously a lot of them you won't see the badness now because I fixed them, but I'm going to point them out, and hopefully this little video will be useful for you to get an idea of how you can just look for the main things, the safety points that are going to make sure that your child is safe when they ride into school. All right? Okay folks, I'm just going to run down the line. I won't be picking on anybody's bike because any bike is a good bike, right? However, I will give you a few tips that I'll throw in along the way that might be useful, and what I think about certain bikes. BMXs, I learnt my trade on a BMX back in the 80s on a Rally Mag burner, so I love BMXs. However, when you buy a BMX, go for one that hasn't got one of these, I'm afraid. This is called a gyro, and they just cause trouble. They have so many cables, the brakes get snarled up. So you're better off with one that has just one cable all the way through, obviously 2 brakes. But if you want more information on any of the things I'm talking about, then give me a shout, okay? And I'll talk you through it. BMXs though, yeah, notorious for the brakes basically because they're so convoluted the way they work. Obviously big fan of light, go light when you're buying a kid's bike. Obviously the Frog Sky, Frog bikes, Isla bikes, Carreras, really good bikes folks. We know they're more money, however what a great investment, because if they're too heavy then children aren't going to enjoy them and ride them lots. And also, to be honest, it's the old adage of you know, buy cheap, buy twice, or maybe 3 times, and unfortunately it'll end up in a skip, which is really sad. So yeah, look out for good second-hand stuff, and I can always help with that or point you in the direction if you want it. But the thing with just to point out the thing that's really good as well, go for, you see these are called trigger shifters rather than the twist if you can, because later on in life all adult bikes go onto trigger and you won't be used to using them. So that's just one little tip there. Now one of the main things I will find, let's have a look. Okay, one of the biggies is definitely enough air in the tyres, which is causing punctures and problems like that. You will see on each tyre, let's have a look at this lovely bike, inflate to 65 psi. They're normally 40 to 65, but it'll tell you. It'll also have an arrow on which way the tyre is on there, so that you actually put it back on the right way if you have a puncture. Now guys, I'll tell you now, most of these bikes are probably about 20 to 30. What that means is very hard to push along with little legs, and you're just not getting the most out of it, and also more likely to get punctures. Okay, so I'm going to leave a track pump in the school for Mrs. Callahan to leave out for you guys to use, but keep them pumped up, right? At least 40, 50 psi is the way to go. As hard as an apple if you're not sure. Okay, nice. Now let's have a look here. Very common, this little bit here, the end comes off and you're left with quite a frayed end. You'll see that on my Twitter, which is @BikeItSH. And unfortunately folks, that's obviously dangerous because you could catch your eyes or your leg on a very sharp pointy bit, which isn't good. The most thing I will be doing on this bike doctors, I check all the bolts of course and things like that, and the wheels are on tight. Quick releases should look like this. That is a quick release there, not against the fork, not down, out of the way. Easy to get to, but clamped right in. That's very common to find those. That means basically your wheel could come out if you're not careful. Plugs. Some bikes, when they are thrown out onto the floor, or put down on the floor should we say, end up with a big hole in the side, which is really dangerous. It's called an apple core incident sometimes, nasty. So you don't want anyone's eyes or legs falling on a basically a round bit of metal. Okay, so they should be plugged up. right? Well, here's an example, a nice plug in the end, okay? Very important. I'll also put a link to my little M check as well, so you can see how to check your bike all the way round. Another thing, folks, stands, take them off. They just cause trouble, they get in the way, they can cause accidents, they get caught in the pedals, your bike falls over with you, and they're not good. And of course it's more weight. We've already got quite a heavy bike, and that's just going to add a few extra kilograms, which isn't so good. Wires and things, be careful, folks. Wires can get caught up in things, make sure they are tucked away nicely. That is really important. And of course a bell, because every time you ring a bell, a fairy is born, right? Right, what else we got over here? Let's run over here. Woo! Oh, there's a stand. Okay, baskets. Oh, sorry whoever bike this was. It was on the actual grip, which is not where we want those things. Sorry whose ever bike that was, but it wasn't particularly dangerous, but just a little Ray tip. Baskets, unless they're a proper fitted basket, if they're an add-on job, don't do it. And the reason is, look at all these cables and brake cables. They are all caught up around the basket, which means it does not work properly. All right, so get rid of those bits and bobs that are hanging around that we don't need. Lights, mud guards, lights that are just going to either fall off or excuse me, or reflectors that are not doing what. I'll put that one back in a minute. Reflectors that you can't see anyway, because if you... All right, that's it for now. Okay, thank you very much, folks, for listening, and I'll see you all soon. And Mrs. Callahan, thank you for your amazing support as always, and I'll look forward to seeing you all soon. All right, at the school gate or whatever. All right, bye now, and keep on rolling.